Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us, and welcome to Firing Range, a podcast to talk about all things Destiny, weapons, abilities, loadouts, and the sandbox at large. And we are back for the first time since the launch of Season of the Chosen. Boys, how the hell are you? I think I didn't get the hat memo again.
What a nerd.
Bro,
Yet another.
What a
there's
loser.
another chat and everything. Like you're throwing right now so bad. But whatever. Yeehaw. I mean, yeehaw.
Cool guy, how come no cowboy hat?
Oh, well, if you don't think I have a cowboy hat, you're mistaken. I'll wear it next week. But, dude, could we just start off with a scout rifle?
Oh, we're just
Sure.
diving right
Yeah,
in.
let's
Yeah,
jump
let's
into it.
dive right in,
Yeah,
baby.
Can we just jump right into it? I think
gonna get
it's
my
a
hat.
fantastic weapon, man. Yeah. Go get that hat.
I'm gonna get the hat. You talk about the gun.
So, do I think it's the best in the game? No. But I do think that uh, there's a lot of different play styles that can like that scout. Like, first of all, like this season brought the loot. I think we all can agree with that. And what's nice is like there's meta options for everything. Like there's a meta scout, there's a meta sidearm, the messenger. Like it goes on and on. Palindrome, the trials hand can. There's a lot of good weapons, bottom dollar. But this scout in particular, I know a lot of players don't like hand cannons. Like I see them, a lot of people in my comment section on YouTube, and I see on Twitter that they're just not fans of hand cannons. Whether it be they just can't use them, they don't like going against them. Well, like this scout does a lot of similar things, and they can combat that 120 range. Um, but I think it's just a really, really cool weapon, and I think Merc does too. I spoke to you briefly about it. What do you think, Merc?
I love it so far. I don't know if you guys, I don't know who here follows me on Twitter, but I have done nothing
I
but
do,
talk
yeah.
about how much I love
I
the
don't.
scout rifle for like the last 24 hours. pretty
Well,
much
I
since
thought
got it.
that I kind of, correct me if I'm remembering wrong. It was kind of like a wild ride where at first you were like, yeah, it's good, but like, is it probably going to be better than like a God Roll Steady Hand? Well, maybe not because they both
No,
have the
no,
same time to kill it.
That's
Or
what I'm
something
saying for
along that nature.
people. That's what I'm saying for people in general. Like I'm
Okay.
saying that mathematically, like I don't think that you're going to see a bunch of sweats and trials running 3 stacks of Dead Man's Tail.
I would
like
agree,
You are
yeah.
right now with Steady Hand and Felwinters. That being
Totally.
said, for those who have known me for longer than just D2, you'll remember that in D1, my favorite weapon of all time was the Chaos Dogma, which was a high impact scout rifle that could 2 crit 1 body for the kill. And we've never had anything that I felt like came even close to comparing to that in terms of how much I loved a primary weapon until Dead Man's Tale. So for everyone else, when I'm making my objective recommendation, it's like here are the facts, right? But for
Yeah.
me, in terms of how much I enjoy playing with a gun, like Dead Man's Tale is I was legitimately like in a meeting today, zoning out, being like, I wonder if I can play Destiny without them noticing that I'm doing that. And like I was like
Wait, are
thinking
you
like
playing
how
Destiny right now?
I wish, but no, my TV's to my left. So if you ever see me like this,
Yeah,
it's
like-
because I'm playing Destiny during the podcast. But yeah, I was legitimately like, I haven't had this feeling of like, I want to get back and play with this gun in a very long time. And Dead Man's Tale has 100% done that for me.
Let's, because that's what we do around here. We get our hands deep into the dough, right? We like to talk numbers and spreadsheets and crap. But let's do something that we should really do, which is, I don't know if you agree with me, but give Bungie like a little round of applause here. I thought the quest was awesome. I know it's like not our forte around here, but do y'all think that quest was cool? I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was
I
amazing.
give credit where
I really
credit's
loved
due.
it.
Dungeons are some of Bungie's best.
So well done. I felt like
Phenomenal.
I was playing Dead Space or something like that. It was really enjoyable. The atmosphere was dark. It was fun. And then when I got the gun, before we even talk about how fun it is to use and all that crap, the visual design I think is like top shelf. I think the way it sounds, the whole like the yeehaw cowboy rifle theme, it's like I'm super on board, dude. Super on board.
And just the animations too, like bringing it out and spinning it just like you do the last word or something. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the Tex Mechanica brand at this point, but like, holy crap, if there
Right.
is another foundry that has come out with as many impressive weapons as Tex Mechanica has, I do not know what it is.
Yeah,
but
I don't
every
think
one
I've
of their
ever used a
guns,
bad one.
yeah, is just
That's
like
very fun.
absolutely top shelf. So
And good for them. I love how this is our first episode. We have so much stuff to cover. We haven't even talked about the new aspects or the fragments or any of the stuff deep in the subclass. But I mean, it's good to talk about this brand new gun because I think it is a lot of fun. There's plenty to talk about. I think it definitely can compete I want to eventually get into maybe an off-topic discussion about the thought of having second ever exotic in the game with random roll potential, and what do y'all think about that for the gun itself and for the future of the game?
They need to chill.
They need to chill.
I'm pretty
That's
sure
a
Drew
big
could-
thumbs down from me.
Yeah,
I put out a tweet that I didn't expect to catch fire, and I guess a lot of people agreed that I think that them, at least directly, even like more so directly the season after, putting out another weapon with random rolls to follow Hawkmoon feels like kind of bad. It's like
values Hawkmoon a little bit.
yeah, it totally devalues Hawkmoon, right? We were introduced to that because we're like, we want to have a random aspect, and we don't want it to be luck in the chamber, so we're giving it random rolls, and I'm like, okay, like that's interesting. It's not being sunset, at least right now, and that's cool. But then like it's not even it's like the season directly after we already have a weapon that has like no identity in anything random, and it's just like, oh, random rolls. So now Hawkmoon feels like, okay, well that's not Hawkmoon's thing anymore, and it's just something like more to grind, and takes away from the identity of exotics being like this standard. Like, hey, I made the example. You got Thorn on. I know what's on Thorn. I know what Thorn does. I want Thorn. I want a good hand cannon. I don't got one. The lottery's not going my way. I'm gonna go get Thorn.
Fair enough. I think that there are cool elements to it, but I think the downsides probably outweigh the upsides, which the upsides are like, oh, well, kind of interesting that we have the ability to customize an exotic a little more. If there's a certain perk on it that you were like, oh, I always wondered what that exotic would feel like with that perk. You know what I mean? It's nice to like tilt your head off and daydream about whatever your favorite exotic would be with Killing Wind or whatever. But I think we already have enough grinding, and I think we have enough of that available to us in legendary weapons. I like that exotic weapons have a very defined body, right? Like exotic weapons are built with like a theme or a perk or a use in mind, and when they're built, it's like, I don't know, I don't even know how you would compare it. It's like buying a super customized PC that you know exactly what is in there. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think it's a fun experiment that they're doing. I was kind of happy when I think I saw Dylan reply to your tweet, DMG from Bungie, who was like, "Yeah, we're just kind of like, don't worry, we're not going too crazy. It's not a new thing that we're gonna do." It's like, okay, good. Like we have a little experiment here. It's kind of fun, but like I'm already grinding my nuts off for like a god roll palindrome. Like, you want me to god roll for the exotics too? Like it's just pump the brakes a little here, Bungie. Hey, cool guy, you got something?
I will say this. In those two weapons, it's kind of unique, right? Because on the other hand, say they do quarterly, these quarterly expansions, it's tied to Harbinger, it's tied to this new mission, so it's tied to the new content, and it's guaranteed at the end. So, I mean, if they were to do that every quarter with an exotic weapon, I guess I would be okay with that. I mean, really, it's only giving one per account, unless it's bugged. But I'm definitely doing it come Tuesday. It's the first thing I'm going to do because I want 4 times in a Killing Wind version. So I do see that side of it, but like we have the bow. The bow is super good from the season pass. What is it,
The Tikkus Divination.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to talk about that too. But yeah, go on.
But as far as the random roll goes, like I'm not gonna say I would hate for it to come back, because I do think that it's a cool deal. I do think it's a cool deal, but like I don't want every season, I guess.
Yeah.
But on the flip, it's tied to the mission. It's pretty cool. It's guaranteed. So I don't know. They're doing it right, since they're doing it, I think.
So I would say this, like I don't like 100% of the idea of random rolls on an exotic. I don't like traits like outlaw and stuff being random. I would very much like the ability to reroll my exotics with different barrel, mag, and stock perks.
Agreed.
Because like I feel like what makes an exotic is the 2 traits that it gets given, right? Like that's what makes the gun special. Thorn, those traits are unique. Dead Man's Tale, those traits are unique. Every exotic, those traits are unique. And even if there's only a single trait that's not built for that exotic, it's paired to the exotic to like mate with it and make it a special gun, right? However, there are things like, barrels, mags, and stocks. Like those are just tweaking the gun. It's like getting a different masterwork on it, right? Like if I get a god roll of a gun I want, it doesn't have the masterwork I want. I don't shard the gun because it's totally useless. I'm just like, oh well, it was a bonus anyways, right? Like I kind of look at it that way. I would love the ability to get the same exotics that I already have, just with a different barrel on them, because some of the times I want more recoil direction on an exotic and I can't get it because I can't put a mod on it and I can't change the barrel. So there's just nothing I can do about it, right? And like that kind of bums me out. And what I think it would do is, I think for casual players, they would go and they'd get the exotic and they'd be happy they got the exotic. They don't really care about nitpicking those little details. But for someone like me, like I know what I'm going to get every time in terms of the traits, but like I would grind this out for the perfect barrel perk, for the perfect mag perk, for the perfect stock. And it's not going to change the way the gun exists, but it may cater the gun a little bit better to my playstyle. And I actually thought that's where they were going to go with this after Hawkmoon. And I was like super stoked for it. And then they kind of went like, nope, random trait again. And I was
Copy
like, oh,
paste.
yeah, bummer.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, already thinking about that, being able to change the barrel and stock on just Vigilance Wing would turn that into a totally different monster.
For
I remember
sure.
back in the day when you could slot counterbalance onto armor, it made V-Wing so much more competitive than it is right now.
Yeah.
Right. And like,
But another like point of view from Bungie is that they want people to go back into this dungeon and repeat play it.
They do.
And
Yeah.
as much as I dislike it, random rolls are a good way to promote that. But I think they can do better by reviving the exotic legendary weapon pairings and then putting the random rolls on that legendary weapon that's paired with it. Think Sturm and Drang, Mida and Mini,
Yeah.
where the Drang or the Mini tool would be getting the random roll treatment.
Yeah.
And in some cases, like with Sturm, nobody even uses Sturm and Drang anymore. They just pair it with the shotgun since it's such a good base 120. And I could see a lot of the new exotics following that trend.
What about? I mean, I thought about this yesterday. I mean, what if that was another way to use the cipher, the exotic cipher, as a one reroll per week?
Not a bad idea. Talking about the gun itself, what loadouts, how do I phrase this? What perks do you guys have on the random roll that you've gotten so far? Do you like the roll, and what have you been pairing it with in PvP or PvE?
Cool guy, go first. You were the most
Yeah,
excited.
cool guy. Yeah.
I
Mine's
mean, it's
subsistence.
got to be him, right? Yeah.
Mine's subsistence. And actually, like what's cool, it gets to a ×5 PVE. That's 40% more. And by the way, we were just banging out palindromes today, man. 7-minute runs. We were using that scout with the perk from the artifact that at a distance you land 4 critical shots and you apply a 20% debuff. It's so good with that scout, dude.
Oh, that's a good
Like,
call.
like
Yeah.
I can see it like Grandmaster style because you can be in the back. You're definitely just going to keep chaining the hits over and over and over. So like that's where 4 times or Vorpal would be good on a champion. But at a distance, you're debuffing him, so you're landing rockets on him. It's great. It's great. But it's subsistence, chambered compensator, and hand laid stock for mine. And I believe, oh, I'd have to check. It is okay. And in PvP, it's cool because after you get a kill, it reloads 2 rounds in. I went on a, I think, 8-player kill streak and didn't reload once. So that's pretty cool.
Oof.
I'm looking for Killing Wind, obviously. And when I broke down the gun, like what's super crazy about the gun is it's very, very accurate. Like it has no recoil rise at all. I mean, you can just hit the trigger over and over and over and it does not move. Now, the recoil direction will move to the left, but it doesn't rise up at all. It just pinpoints straight. So if you get the 89 recoil direction to 99 or 100, it just goes in one spot. So like on the barrel of the weapon, if you get a recoil direction perk, that's going to do it. So the stock, you want something like hand laid for more stability or handling, whatever it is. But if you miss the barrel, the stock has fitted stock, and that gives plus 20 recoil direction. So it's really cool that you have 2 ways to get it to 100 that can kind of compensate for a roll.
Yeah, that's not bad. I've been using it with Top Tree Dawnblade. Duh, just because everything is fun with Top Tree Dawnblade, just kind of floofing up and then picking people off from downtown with the casual drifting around in the air.
It'd be good with the catalyst Top Tree.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
the
wondering how we
catalyst
would
is,
bring that up. Let's put a 15-second spoiler warning. If you're listening at home and you don't want to know about the catalyst, we will talk about it for 30 seconds max. Go get a drink right now. The catalyst, which has been data mined, is what is it again? It makes hipfire accuracy like perfect.
it removes the hipfire accuracy penalty.
That's
So-
insane.
And it
Yeah.
fires faster.
So
Yeah.
and it fires
And it
faster.
fires.
So think of Last Word had a baby with a scout rifle, and that is what the gun will become when the catalyst comes out.
Or think like Skyburner. Not with the tracking rounds, but like the rate
Right.
of fire change.
Right, Skyburner, but good.
Legitimately, yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
all I'm thinking is that it's the DMR from Halo Reach, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, there
That's-
you
that's
go.
the
Good call.
idea
That's why-
that I have in my head. and
DMR
I'm,
no
like,
bloom.
really hoping
Amen.
that it lives
That's
up
why
to
we're
that,
wearing the hat
so.
tonight.
It pains me, man, because it's
Attaboy,
like
Drew.
abbreviated DMT. It needed to be
Yeah.
called like, I don't know, Dead Man's Revival or something like that.
Dead
We
Man's
call it
Revenge.
DMR.
Yeah, I know. It needed to
revenge?
stand for DMR.
Ah, that
Come
would've
on,
been fun.
Bungie. Unplayable.
Yeah, we're so
Yeah.
close. We have so much to talk about. We gotta. Oh, Drew, go on. I wanted to move on to something to another
I'll
gun,
be
but
like 10 seconds. I
to
haven't
make
gone
it
random
happen.
rolls yet. I want moving target. I want exactly what Cool Guy said otherwise. 'Cause I just like free aim assist, more consistency from ADS. And the catalyst is truly what makes the gun enticing and exciting to me, being able to play aggressively with it rather than traditional scout rifle.
All right,
Well-
10
well put.
seconds here. It's gathering dust in my vault until the catalyst exists because on mouse and keyboard, I think it's going to be wild. I'm going for snapshots so I can go in and out of hipfire as quick as possible.
I can't wait to see what Cam does with it.
yeah,
Dude,
really, it's
it's going to be so sick.
gonna be wild.
Yeah,
I know
like
he's got
straight
stuff
up. I
dreamed
mean, it
up.
could be in the middle of the night. Just text me. You're streaming. Hey, dude, I got the
About to go
snapshot.
live.
It's
with the
time. And
DMT.
they're like, I'll be there. Dude. Set up
Yeah.
the bat light.
Rolling
I'm already
in.
ready for the review. People are going to be like, what's the god roll? Well, I'm going to say with this little preface, if you think the last word is garbage on mouse and keyboard, then the barrel and stock doesn't matter to you. But if it does, if you do think it's good, crank up the stability and hip fire away.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's say we move on to another new exotic, the Tikkus Divination Bow, which was, I think, the gun that most people thought they would fiddle around with day one of Season of the Chosen. I got to admit, I don't think I was looking forward to an exotic bow. I don't think it's going to be cracked in trials anytime soon, but in terms of a unique, fun weapon experience, I think Tikku kind of crushes it.
Dude, I think that there's a triumph for Gilded Flawless to go through with Tikku.
Really.
I'm pretty sure that there is.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, bows are my weakness, man.
Hmm.
Something about a bow on the other team just like trashes me.
I agree with that. It's TQs in particular was like my kryptonite. The first couple of days I was playing, I played a 5-man that was all using TQs, and they had like 3 guys hip firing and 2 ADS in every lane, and it was like an actual nightmare. Because I'm a scout rifle player. Even before I got Dead Man's Tale, I was using Symmetry and Trustee, and like it was my actual kryptonite. So I switched to it. I was like, I'm gonna destroy everyone, and I suck with it. So it's like, oh man, I can't win. Like this thing kills me all the time, and I'm terrible at using it. This is the worst of both worlds. So
It gave me like awkward flinch because when they hip fire, it has that slow travel time, and that's
Yeah.
my like natural repeak time. And so I repeak right when it hits me and get flinched, even though I don't think they intended to do that. They're just firing away.
Drew, what
I
about
think
you?
it's
You like
I
it,
don't
cool
know.
guy?
Go ahead, Drew.
I'm not like super into bows, and the only bow that I'm really I really love is Wishtender. So I don't know. It's another bow. It seems interesting that I feel like I'm getting hit by a truck, but I take like no damage. That's always a interesting interaction.
Which is your screen? 27
It's funny.
Still.
yeah,
Oh,
I know
that's
that a lot of
unsettling.
people out there aren't a fan of bows, and I will admit, when you're playing something like Comp or Trials or whatever, and they got a bow on the other team, I'm like, oh god, damn it! Especially if it's
It's my
Monarch,
kryptonite.
like
Yeah.
what is it, like Oathkeeper Monarch? It's like I have
I get
nightmares waking
pre-tilted
up.
by that stuff. I just like
Yeah,
look at it and I'm just like,
pre-tilted.
I'm out of the game already.
I'm
I'm
out, bro.
pre-tilted, boys.
Yeah, this is like a random callback. I was doing Trials help with, I can't remember, it was so long ago. Maybe it was Joey, maybe it was my friend Nick, I can't remember. But we fought a guy. His name was literally Robin Hood. He was a hunter with Oathkeeper
That's pretty
and
sick.
Monarch, and it was like I wanted to like reach through the screen and choke this guy because like you get hit with one Monarch shot, you're out for like 10 seconds. Like you have to chill and wait for your health to come back. It's brutal, but I
No
do
game
think that
stock for you shoots you with a bow.
I think that Tikku's really fun. Again, I don't think it's gonna crush the meta or nothing like that. I didn't see it at all in Trials, unsurprisingly, you know. The 120 RPMs are strong AF, and Tikku takes a little bit of finessing. But in terms of cool design and like going into PvE and PvP and having fun, I think it's a really fun weapon.
Does anyone know if you aim Tikkus in the air, if the arrow will fall back down to the floor so you can kind of like rain hell with the six stack?
Kinda. So here's what's cool about it.
Yeah.
Here's what's cool about it. So like, if you're playing the bow play style, like you're doing the peak shot, right? Maybe you're doing bow, hand cannon, whatever it is, but a lot of it's peak, right? You shouldn't be out in the open with the bow. You'll just get sat down. What's cool about that bow is like once something is on your screen, you just fan the trigger, right? So it's just a mouse click, or you just tap the like. You don't have to draw it back to like and hip fire, let it go. Like literally, see someone tap the trigger, it auto seeks. So immediately, like with the travel time, it's almost like by the time you're fully drawn to shoot the shot, like it all hits at once. So like it can be very, very fast. And surprisingly, the best way to play with that bow is on Titan, because on Titan you can throw out the barricade and stand a little bit back. You hold it and hit fire, and like the little squares where an enemy is. Like all you do is just like flick your stick up or the mouse, and like it will literally arc over your
The
shield,
barricade, yeah.
and then you peek out to do the shot. Like it's the best on
That's
the Titan.
interesting.
Like
Very
if you see a Titan do that, they're extremely difficult to deal with, dude. Or if you do,
Oh, I
it
can
too.
imagine.
Titans
It's
already
very
with
good.
barricade are a thorn in my paw, especially those damn Titan barricade. Which is why I run Titan for trials.
Same. I'm a Titan man.
Really, it's really
Oh
strong.
yeah, I've been running that for months at this
Super
point.
strong.
When I see the red light district, I put up the Titans.
I feel like I'm moving quick, but I'm trying to get to everything that we have yet to talk
Yeah,
about
move
in
quick.
Season of the
Let's do it.
Chosen. We got new aspects and new fragments on the table.
Oh, this is a Drew section.
I know, this is like, I've been waiting to pass the ball to Drew here. Yeah, let him stretch out there. So we got what? One new aspect for each of the classes, and then 4 new fragments, is it? Am I remembering correctly?
Yeah,
remember.
I think that
Yeah.
sounds right.
Okay, sounds about right. I don't have them written here in front of me because I am not a podcasting
Oh, let
professional.
me tell the story. Let me build the ambiance.
Oh, we're gonna build a little.
So,
okay, tell us
We're
a tale here.
We're playing comp, and a warlock shoots out a freeze turret. Yes, that is a thing now with the fragment. And my boy Drew says, "I got this." He throws down a wall grenade, and he goes, "Now we have damage resistance." And the poor turret is trying to shoot the wall. So we're
Yeah, I
just
put it in front of
landing into
That's
it.
great. So yeah, the warlock gets the throw the grenade into a turret mode. The hunter gets the, if you defeat
So-
a slowed enemy, you pick up a big shard, which runs a lot of melee
It's the
energy.
Yeah, it's
Tectonic harvest.
50%.
50% melee energy, and then
50%. And
the
it's for your
Titan,
team.
yeah, for your
For your
team,
whole
right? That's such a. We'll talk about that in a minute. But and then the Titan one is the slide into summon ice, like right in front of you.
Yeah, it's like a glacier nade comes out of your knee.
Exactly. And then for the fragments, you have the reduced damage, the reduced incoming damage if you're near a glacier nade or crystal of some type. You have the Whisper of Torment, where getting shot will benefit your grenade cooldown time. There's 2 more. What am I missing here? I'm a failure. I can't think of all 4 off the
I
top
only
of my
know
head.
those 2 because those are the most significant.
I would agree.
Yeah, I only paid
Drew,
attention to the
you
PvP
share
ones.
you share your thoughts, Drew, and I'll look up the other 2.
So, I think so. I'll start with the hunter aspect. I don't really have, a lot of experience with the others. I think the warlock one looks really cool. Titan one looks really cool. I think the hunter one is the weakest of the 3. I don't like right now. Dodge to slow is no secret. It's very powerful within that 7 or 8 meter radius it has, as well as shadow dive, as no secret to anyone, is still really, really strong. So it's gonna take a lot for me to swap off of those on Revenant, and I think this new one is cool, and it's got a really cool support kind of dynamic, team play dynamic, where you're getting everyone their melee back. And if you got a behemoth on your team, that is pretty meaningful. And for yourself, a lot of shurikens, and shurikens are very strong. So I get it. It's very cool. I think it presents a new dynamic for how you can play Revenant in a little bit more of a support fashion. But personally, for me, I like to have a lot more individual lethality and kind of like this be the one that breaks in the engagement for my team. So I usually am like blinking with Bakros and shurikening and like causing a lot of chaos, so my team gets a free push behind me. So that doesn't really line up with my playstyle, but it's interesting. As far as fragments, the one that really stuck out at me was chains. That one I think is quite literally insane. It gives you, I believe it's 25% damage resistance. I made a wrong calculation in my video initially. But 25% damage resistance when you're near a friendly glacier crystal, and that's a very generous radius. It seemed to be somewhere around 15 meters or so, which is not a tall ask. You can often now I'm putting these up like walls to block off a line of sight while I fight someone else, and I'm getting damage resistance on top of it. Or remember, it works for your teammates. So if my Cam's in a sticky scenario and he's got chains on, I throw a glacier grenade at him, make a wall for him. He's got DR. Maybe I can follow up and I can get DR, and we re-challenge. And it stops a lot of the obnoxious kind of kill perks right now, like Rampage on 120s. A lot of people are talking about that. It essentially converts the 120 damage into the old 150 damage, making them have to 3 headshot. It's really powerful. And if that didn't sell you enough, it gives you a free plus 10 recovery. So it's quite strong.
Yeah,
The other one,
stat splits.
yeah, like insane. It's replaced shards for me, which was the grenade cooldown reduction one for and plus 10 resilience. Now I essentially get the same stat split, except with a more useful fragment or potent fragment. The other one that was cool was when you take damage, you get grenade energy back. I thought that was only PvE. It works in PvP, so if you got the slots, go for it. But if you're playing Hunter like me, you only have 2 slots, so yeah.
So I looked up the other two real quick. We have a Whisper of Fractures, where your melee energy recharges quicker when you're near 2 or more combatants. And then you have a Whisper of Impetus, where damaging targets with a Stasis melee reloads your stowed weapon and gives a boost to weapon ready speed, which I'm sure are fine, but haven't been using them, full disclosure, just because I think I just tried them out. They didn't really do it for me, and I felt the other two were much stronger. And just to be I'll be the what is it, the yin to Drew's yang or whatever. But what is it called, the hunter one, the hunter aspect, it's like
Cool guy had it.
there's something harvest of Grim Harvest, is that it?
Grim Harvest, yes. That's
Grim
the one.
Harvest. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been trying that out, and I have become a meta piece of filth in that I have re-fallen in love with triple jump stompies.
How dare
Because
you?
yeah, I know, dude. I know. It's
Oh,
like,
funny you
dude,
say that.
they're
In front of our
wildly obnoxious, and the shuriken is maybe my favorite melee ability in the game because
Okay.
it's dummy good, bro.
Before we started this whole stasis talk, like,
Okay.
why is it 91 damage, dude? Why is it 91 damage?
Yeah, I don't agree.
Yeah,
I meant
Bungie-
to say that when you were
182
asking
damage.
for the frags.
Bungie buffed, if you're not sure what we're talking about, Bungie buffed the damage from the shuriken. It does 90 damage now on default. So it's very strong. It's
Oh, and
Dude,
the
those
Death
can
Stone
deal
makes
no damage, and I'll still use them. Like
I know,
I
I
use
know.
it to clear areas before I push. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna bounce the shuriken here, clear. Okay, I push through like almost like a flashbang or something. Like I don't need damage with them to use them. They're so strong.
and
Yeah, the slow.
everything that slow. Remember Cool Guy's video about how strong the Duskfield nade is? It's like everything that slow does. So you get 2 melee charges. They can ricochet off corners and then like auto, like the Captain America Titan shield. They like auto seek a target from a ricochet. All the things that slow does. 90 damage. It's just, they're insane. So I made the hardest decision of my life as a kind of often hunter player in PvP. I took off Shatter Dive, which is kind of crazy because Shatter Dive, I know, look at Drew's face. It's like Shatter Dive is really, really strong. It's good for finishing off frozen targets, for detonating the glacier nade. It's just good as a movement tool. With a hunter, you spend so much time in the air. You jump up, you peek, you dive down.
It's
a
good for
great
3
tool.
peeking. God, so awesome.
It's great for 3 peeking. I don't need a sword. Yeah, but don't 3 peek. But I took it off for Grim Harvest, and like I was running 4 strength or something in trials, and even with Grim Harvest, I never ran out of shuriken. Every engagement, I could run around a corner, triple jump over the enemy, turn around, double shuriken, hit the ground, they're dead. Like it was insane to me. Like you have to give up a lot to get the Grim Harvest, but I was really enjoying it. I'm just
Why even use weapons?
putting that
am I
out there.
right?
You really don't have to. Remember
don't
how I
have
was
to.
stuck on
You don't have to.
Strider for the last month, right?
I remember, yeah,
So I'm off that now since it's February. That was a January thing.
sure.
And I guess I've learned to casually wield the darkness to clap ass in new ways because Revenant is yeah, I stole that from the Lance Reddick Twitter meme.
Right.
But yeah, Revenant is way stronger than I thought because I was always used to playing against it, not playing with it. But man, Stompy control jump with all that mobility, and then to shatter dive back where you came from to take away the weakness of Stompy's getting you stuck in the air. It's just so much better than any other hunter class. Besides maybe a perfect Raij's harness, I don't think I can go back.
What I
It's
thought was
very
really
strong.
cool, Cam, is like we play a very different hunter style. So you play probably more similar to Fallout, like Stompies with the what's it called? The new Grim Harvest thing.
Mhm.
So you're constantly refreshing. We have the shurikens, and like even just playing like 2 revenants together, like the fact again, I want to see this for the other classes. I'd love to see this for the other classes, but their like interchangeability and team play together is crazy that we can play 2 different styles of Hunter
Yeah.
Revenant. But like when we would play comp, like I'd be like, all right, here you take DR. Cam would be like, all right, Shuriken. Okay, I blink in and finish him with another Shuriken. I know it's a lot of ability play, but I actually I have fun with like the whole team aspect of that, and I hope to see that like kind of interchangeability.
It's almost like
with
Stasis had 2
white classes.
distinct trees that we went. Drew with the grounded one and me with the aerial. And believe me, the new frozen orbit sniper, I put an Icarus grip on that, and you can
Mm.
snipe like that. Jump out, shoot, shatter dive back in. Jump out, shoots, shatter dive back in. And if the shot hits, that's a free call for Drew to just fly in with Bakris and breathe
Yep.
on somebody because they're hit by an aggressive snipe.
Not sure how many people are familiar with Pokemon, but it's like Mega Charizard X and Mega Charizard Y, bro.
Yeah.
Both Charizard, but they're
Yeah.
completely different, man. Yeah. They've opened up a lot of new things. I
But
want
light
the
subclasses haven't.
yes.
True.
I'm sure they're aware of that though.
Yeah.
I'm just really
think.
happy with that's how the stasis trees end up because back in D1, I really do feel like 99% of the player base ran the exact same tree on some classes. The exact
sure.
same perk
Yep.
Oh,
codes.
as far as
Mhm.
nodes.
Whereas
All
with
the time.
stasis, at
Yep.
least on the Revenant, I'm starting to see some variation and that's cool.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Yep.
Just add combustion to the golden gun, Bungie. Just do it.
Just do it, you cowards. I don't know about y'all, but the Warlock turret thing, I'm kind of disappointed with. I mean, I wouldn't want it any stronger because Lord knows, we already have enough ability trash going on in the game right now. Like, we want to keep it. I'm sure the people at the table here want to probably keep the fights majority gun skill and then with fun ability stuff on the back burner. But sometimes I throw the Warlock turret into battle, and it just couldn't give a damn. Like, it's just like there's someone right next to it. It's like, oh, that hunter's murdering Fallout. I'll just hang out here. And have you noticed that at all? Has anyone played with the turret? Like, sometimes it literally won't shoot.
Will it instantly freeze? If, like, let's say you're doing like some stasis team play. Say I dust field and like we throw it at the same time. You're throwing the turret. I'm throwing the dust field. If
Right.
they get slowed in there, will the turret immediately freeze them?
It probably will. Yeah, I
be
haven't
quick.
tested that specifically. It
Yeah,
very likely
it
would.
adds stacks of slow. So
Well, I know what we're
Yeah.
doing this weekend. Trials.
My
But the
hope
thing
with that
is-
turret was that if you like held down the grenade button, you could go first person camera and there's some Eris Morn type like
Dude,
seeing
let's
through it
go.
type thing, right?
That'd be great.
Get the emplaced camera. People are
Cool.
third personing anyway, so why not?
Cool guy. What do you say every time you and I fight a guy with the Jotun? Oh man, it
Oh.
would be yeah.
It'd be a shame if I just gingerly moved to the left.
Yeah, that's
one
how
direction. I mean,
that's how I feel about the turret because it fires so slowly. I'd be like, oh, it'd be a shame if I just gently walked off to the right. Like it's the tracking is so bad on the turret.
Don't tell that to the comment section, Harrison.
I haven't
Dude,
used it.
it's
like,
cool in
but-
PvE.
It's yeah.
and
good
I've
point.
heard, yeah, it's really good.
Good
in
point.
PvE,
It's
but
good in
I
PvE, yeah.
I think that like, I feel like that turret. I don't want it to be any better because I
Correct.
feel like it's one of those things that if someone somewhere catches on to some like craziness with it, it's gonna be like everywhere and really annoying. Because I think like I don't even know like can you bounce the grenade off walls even? Like what if you can
Yes.
dump
Because
it
it
into
can't, yeah. Because
areas?
I tried to throw it up into a corner to do
Like a
kind of
security
like
camera?
a perfect dark laptop gun type situation, but
Yeah.
it hit the wall and it just bounced off. So it'll bounce to the floor, but you
Yeah,
can
like-
bounce it around corners.
I think there's some cool stuff that you can do with it to cause
Yeah.
chaos and engagements. Even though it might not be the greatest, I think it puts additional pressure. Like I know like the
Sure.
first time we saw it, Cam, like where I had to throw that ice wall grenade in front of me, I was like, what the hell is that thing? And then
Get away.
but
Literally blocked off.
What is that?
yeah, like I think that that's a cool way of like you can really put a lot of pressure on a team, throw it in behind them, and they kind of like are forced to deal with it, or ignore it, get slowed, and potentially be an easy kill, or push you. So I think that's cool that it can produce that. So
You know what, Drew? This weekend, I'm gonna do one full card. I'm gonna try to abuse the turret much as I can to see if there's any potential there.
yeah,
I will
go ahead.
intentionally
It
try to
seems
ruin the
interesting,
meta
right?
for you, Drew.
Yeah, do it. Hell,
Nah,
I already ruined the
let's
meta
do
for
it,
you,
bro.
dude, so I mean, hey.
You gotta
Like I
wait
said,
for the
I'll run
OBJ.
Dustfield Fallout.
What was that?
I said I'll run Dustfield. It'd be like a line and
Perfect,
sinker,
dude. Suck him right into the turret.
Oh boys, can you imagine
Oh,
this?
yeah.
Like it's countdown, you're about to defuse, and there's like 3 turrets waiting on the bomb site.
You suck him and I'll blast him. That's the perfect team combo.
So some maps have these objects like boxes or something that you can move around, and there's less of them in D2, but they're still there. I want to emplace a turret on it and then have a Sunbreaker do the launch melee and just like launch a turret off the box into an enemy spawn or something and just let it wreak havoc.
Good lord. The mind of Cammy at work. A beautiful thing to behold. Okay, I think we've done a fair... Anyone want to comment? We haven't talked about the Titan aspect. Any thoughts there from the instant ice wall summon? I think it's pretty fun. I think it's a great way, like... You know those moments where you got your game plan going on in your head and you're like, yeah, I'm going to go around and flank the guy over here and I'll try to do damage and then push that direction, and then you turn around and you're like, oh crap, and there's a guy like right in front of you. Like, it's just that instant... It's kind of like almost a get out of jail free card, depending how close they are to you. Does anyone use the Titan aspect a whole bunch? That glacier, the immediate ice wall?
I haven't used it, but it's quite good. So I always judge things that I haven't played with based on how effective they are when used against me by like
Sure.
decent players. And I have seen some Titans use it very, very well. When I had to go into Mayhem last week for that awful challenge, did you know that one of those ice walls can eat an entire blade barrage and not kill the person behind it? Yeah, which is super annoying. They actually tank an insane amount of damage when you place them in front of you. It's like better than the barricade and way faster. So I had a bunch of people using them, like you said, as like a panic, like defense, like go ice wall, and then just like
Right.
scoot out from behind it when they're damaged. But also the fact that it can just freeze anything if you get trapped in it, same as a glacier grenade. So if you're close enough and they like miss, what they're trying to do, and they panic and they just launch it, and you're unfortunate enough to be caught in it, it's pretty much a free kill for them because you're gonna be frozen and they're just gonna slide on through you and kill you anyway. So I found that in the right hands, it's been used much better than anyone has used the Warlock turret against me so far.
Probably. I should do the Drew combo of pair it together with chains, because like if you're maybe charging in on the enemy and they cut your flank short, you have a bad angle, you could protect yourself with an instant ice wall and then bam, 25% incoming damage reduction.
Dude, they
I forgot to
take...
mention. I think that. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're
Go
good.
ahead,
You're
go
good.
ahead.
You go first. You're good.
Okay. I forgot to say, Fall, on that note,
Yeah.
chains apparently stacks with behemoth damage resistance
It
when
does.
you're making the glaciers in the super.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. You're correct,
That's
which is like,
mind-blowing to me.
which is obscene. It's almost like Bungie's making fun of us at this point. Like,
Like that's
with how much
crazy.
damage, that's wild. Yeah, if you're a Titan main, you got to check out or if you're a Behemoth main, first of all, find God. Second of all, try out the Whisper of Chains, because you'll just be so tanky. Yeah. Any
Why
other
do they
comment
need them?
there?
You can't kill them anyways, right? They're already impossible to kill.
Yeah, why
Now
not?
they're just
Yeah.
doubly
Let's make 'em even
impossible to kill.
stronger.
The
Nah,
insurance.
I had a wonderful joy today playing Showdown again for the challenge of a behemoth spawning and basically activating his super and chasing me all the way across the map. And I ran all the way from one initial spawn all the way to the other initial spawn, out of the initial spawn, and I was running down that outside lane on Javelin 4. And luckily, the only reason I didn't die is because they tried to melee and they were terrible, and they meleeed right off the edge of the map and just killed themselves. But they literally chased me for, it felt like I was running for 30 seconds, just like constantly running from that. Like
That's
I
because
didn't-
you were.
yeah,
running
I
for
didn't even
30
turn
seconds.
around.
Literally lasts for 30 seconds.
I wasn't even like, you know what, I'm gonna put damage on him. I was like, nope, my best option here is literally to run away for half a minute in a 2-minute long game mode that is shown. So
I feel like someone at Bungie looked at the data and they're like, Izanagi's burden isn't really getting used. And so you have to honed edge for the Titan while he's near a crystal.
What were you saying, Cool Guy, earlier before I interrupted?
No, two things. Like, I've used that Titan melee. I have a clip of it that I did yesterday, man. I mean, I just charged right at a behemoth because I have hedrons. I literally did the little thing, froze him, and one banged him with a Fellwinter. Like, it's, I don't know, some of the stasis stuff is crazy. Also, before I forget, you were saying about the stasis crystals taking the damage that it does that it stopped the Lay Barrage. Like, we were playing against a team that was 3-peaking on Ultra Flame. It was 3 Revenant Hunters, and they were just playing passive, dude. I got Dawnblade first because I'm light subclass. I went all the way around the map chasing them, and they were stomping, dude. But I got them in dark, and that's the little tunnel by, I guess it would be what, Seaside?
The other side of the power wall, right?
The other side of the power wall, yeah.
Yeah.
So I finally like corner him. Like I Dawnblade, I Icarus Dash, I get him. They all go in there. They throw a glacier wall and a glacier wall just to wall me off, dude. And I spent 5 Dawnblades. It broke 1.5 crystal because for whatever reason, it takes 3 hits. It's not tied to damage. Like a special weapon will one bang it. For whatever reason, the Dawnblade Super takes 3 hits to take out 1 crystal out of the 5. Like it's insanity.
That seems fake. Like just hearing that, like it seems
it's
not
true story, dude.
It seems like you would read on Twitter.
I can
there, I
confirm
saw
that.
it.
Like,
He
when
was
people
like, takes
Dawnblade
3
on me,
hits.
I put
Yeah,
up a wall
it's-
and just
it's
run away from
hilarious.
them, or,
Yeah,
like,
just
box
run.
them in. Like,
It's really
Yeah.
funny.
when you think about it,
Tragic,
it's actually
but
what
funny.
the glacier stuff should be used for, right? Like building cover and building defense and stuff like that. And now that Shatter Dive is not what it once was, I find myself using the grenade a lot more often for that because people do have to waste time like shooting those things down. And it's a get out of jail free card. You can just block off a lane. You can stop a super from getting to you. I mean, there's actually a lot of utility to using glacier grenades the way I feel like they were meant to be used. But then Drew discovered Shatter Dive, and it kind of like shifted everybody's thing to like, let's use glacier grenades for a ridiculous rocket launcher straight at our feet type thing. But now that they haven't, they're actually really good at just building up defense like on the fly, exactly when you need it.
Started the origin story there. All the nations lived in harmony until the Cretans attacked.
Let's move on to. We still got more to talk about. We got new weapons out the butt. Like, there's tons of new weapons, and I'm not talking about the exotic weapons that we mentioned earlier, which are great, but there's just a whole new patch of legendary weapons on the table, and a lot of them very good. We could start literally anywhere, but do you want to go, just go around the table real quick? What is your favorite new legendary weapon in the loot pool to use for either PvP or PvE?
I'm the most excited about this. I'm going Frozen Orbit. Oh my gosh. I've sniped on a 50 zoom snapshot snipe for an eternity. I've been waiting for a high impact snipe so I can last word again, since the only other alternative was Succession, the raid snipe. And now that it's back, I'm hip firing away. I get to be the other cowboy that uses the last word instead of the scout. So that's what I'm excited about. How about you guys?
I've been a fan of the Messenger so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say Messenger.
Yeah,
With
Messenger's been.
Desperado. It's a little okay.
Yeah, dude, you toss Despacito on that bad boy, you get 1 kill. It's
I'm upset
super
about that
enjoyable.
Yeah, it's a little odd. I don't know what they're doing.
What was that?
I
I'm
said
upset about that.
Yeah, I don't know what
You're
they're doing,
upset
man.
about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's-
is this you're upset about it because of how it ties into the nature of sunsetting? We're kind
I
of-
mean, Cool Guy, you finish your thoughts first.
Like,
Okay.
it's literally the better version of a pinnacle weapon that was already a better version of a pinnacle weapon. And this thing's got this, it's version
Yeah, yeah.
3.0 now, and it's here till season 17.
Hmm.
So it's just gonna be around. So I'm like, well, what are we doing here? I mean, I love powerful perks, but you need to do more then.
So I was initially very happy about that until I thought about it a little bit more. I was like, oh my god, another pseudo memory pinnacle weapon type thing back. Like I like to believe that the posterity is dangerously close to not forgotten. And I made a little stupid meme video about that. And I'm like, yo, I'm gonna make another cool meme video about this. And I kind of thought about it, and I'm like, I don't like that Desperado is being brought back as an individual perk when it was already kind of tied to an identity on another weapon that could have. I don't think anyone has a distinct problem with Redrix's Claymore. I think we've all think it's exotic level, so why not bring it back as an exotic? I don't think the vast majority, at least from what I know, is really complaining about it. A lot of people, I think, from what I hear, would love to see it back as an exotic. And I think it qualifies as that power level. And I think if you tied that to a cool quest that maybe isn't skill related like it once was, but just requires investing some good time in the Crucible, that could have been really cool. There's a distinct lack of deterministic rewards around, and now we're taking the perks from what was an era of good weapons coming from deterministic rewards and putting them on random rolls that are quite literally feel like sifting through a pile of garbage to try and get a good one, or even just that perk.
It's true.
And that's disappointing to me. That's like truly a fall from grace. And not to mention, Desperado's not even what it once was. There's actually very little difference from Kill Clip and Desperado as in terms of time to kill. There's like a 10 frame difference. And the big difference between the two is Desperado lasts 7 seconds, so it's a little longer than Kill Clip. And it's more forgiving because obviously you can just spray bullets down, right? But
Sure.
what made Desperado truly, like, I think, like exotic tier, and if it were to be kept as an exotic, would qualify as that, is it was tied to Outlaw, which means you could carry it and continually refresh the counter. If we all remember back from year one, if you don't know about this, basically Desperado originally, before it came back on the messenger, said whenever you reload, when Outlaw is active, you get increased rate of fire or something like that. It was tied to Outlaw. So as long as Outlaw was active after you got a headshot, which lasted a few seconds, you could just keep shooting and reloading and recycling your 7-second time limit on that perk, which is really cool. And now you can't do that anymore even. So, and I guess I understand why, but I really would have just loved to see this come back as an exotic tier weapon with a cool Crucible incentivized quest.
It's
Yeah,
a
well
great.
said.
I mean,
It's
damn,
good,
I was
man.
just talking about how I like to shoot people with it. You dropped a whole philosophy bomb there, Drew.
I was so excited for it. I was like,
No, I
like,
hear what
wait
you're
a
saying.
minute.
You're bringing
I'm
up
gonna
good
go
points.
delete mine.
Yeah, for everybody delete it. Yeah. No, it's a good point.
Not my Desperado.
Paulette, you see what I tweeted at you on Twitter?
No,
The
can't wait.
brass tack sidearm.
Oh, the ass attacks.
Yeah, I
With
call it
roll
the ass
on.
attacks, dude. It's the worst roll I've ever seen. All right, so
Dude,
get this.
pretty
The
bad roll on
sidearm
that
has
one, Cam. Pretty bad
overflow
roll.
and sympathetic arsenal. Think about that for a second. So sympathetic arsenal, you get a kill and reload, and it reloads your other guns. But overflows the magazine, so you can't reload.
Classic combo.
Kind of like
Yeah,
that
it's
with
the
multi-kill
true god
clip.
roll.
True god roll, bro. What do you guys think? Has anyone gotten a good bottom dollar? Has any of you dredgens out there earned a god roll bottom dollar?
Oh, he said it.
Come on, Merc.
You just
not even
standing
seen
there.
one. Not even seen a bottom dollar. So
It's a
Oh,
myth to
man.
him.
You didn't earn one then?
You didn't earn
no,
one.
no,
Merc.
despite my best efforts and the sacrifices I made to RNGesus and Drifter, I've seen nothing out of game except
You
for
over here
one.
talking about how you don't have
gotten
a
two.
bottom dollar. You could be playing some Gambit.
Yeah,
You could be
You
playing some
top dollar,
Gambit.
brother.
Yeah, that's the new thing. If you're listening at home and you have a friend out there who's complaining that they've played, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter how many games. The higher the number gets, the funnier it becomes. If they're like, I played 100 games of Gambit and I haven't gotten a bottom dollar. You're like, well, you just didn't earn it yet, bro. You gotta earn it, brother. And then watch how they
Earn
react.
it better.
You should be better, forehead.
Work harder.
I mean,
I got.
funny would it be though if they said that it only dropped from wins? You want to see Gambit get real sweaty real fast?
God in
Yeah.
Well, the
heaven.
SPMM's already
Oh,
cranked. Like, I'm having
yes.
trouble casually playing with friends and trying builds because it'll pit the European Gambit sweats against me 24/7. And don't get me wrong, I can rise to the occasion. The game's just not fun when you break it like that.
Yeah.
It's not balanced to be that way.
Not the way you play, no.
No, not at all.
Um,
Not even a little bit.
I got one to drop with Rampage, which the other perks
The
aren't.
dream.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
you
it's
win.
pretty good.
You
Yeah,
win.
it's
I mean,
fine.
it can get Yeah, he can get rangefinder rampage. That's what I have on my true prophecy, and I don't think I
bad.
would want anything more.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
killing
it's
Wind.
pretty
plays my
pretty
heart.
fun. I still want to get more variety on the gun because like variety is fun, but it's just like, oh man, Gambit, dude, like it's just a slog. Every game you go into is a slobber knocker. Like if they're up ahead of me within the first like 3 minutes of the game, I'm like, just pack it in, boys. It's over.
Well,
Oh,
dude,
dude,
no,
even quicker
no,
than that, first 30 seconds.
Yeah, the
no,
first it's
the-
like
it-
the
it's
first
weird
invade
'cause-
determines everything.
Yeah, first invader.
It does.
First
You gotta take it.
invader,
Let's make
make
it
or
quick.
break, literally make or break.
There are different tiers, man. Because I was playing with Cam the other night, and like I was coming back. I was like a minute late, and we were down like 50-20. And Cam's like, "Oh no!" I said, "Well, first of all, I'm throwing." He's like, "Yeah, that just let him bank." And all of a sudden, that we were looking, and like the
Oh,
ads
that
were
was
killing
funny.
it. So like I was like, "All right, let's just beat him." So like we came back down like 15 to 80 and beat him.
Damn.
It's wild.
Yeah, they spilled the spaghetti on that one. That was weird.
Now, the role that I have that I like, I've got about 4 of them, but like I find value in it because I think it's cool. It's Pulse Monitor Demolitionist. And what's cool about that role is like with Pulse Monitor, literally every gunfight that you get into, it's gonna reload your weapon. Like if it's an actual gunfight where you're in red health, it's gonna reload it. So it has what 8 rounds starting off, 8 or 9. So
Something like that.
after a gunfight, I'm gonna be right back to 8, and then I'm getting, with that kill, I get grenade energy, and of course, if I need to reload, I can just throw the grenade. Right? Good PVE and PvP. I think it's pretty nice.
I got multi-kill clip, and this was perfect because
Yeah.
this is the only perk I wanted for a specific video. This video being on the most effective weapons to use when you're under light, as in Iron Banner showing up next week. And these are the go-to weapons that even if you're the lowest light possible, you can still clap some ass. So multi-kill clip's one of those. Think about it. It's a 120. It's always going to be a 3-tap. And if you get multi-kill clip procced, it's always going to be a 2-tap. With Rampage and Swash, you just can't guarantee that.
I think it's going to be that, Malfeasance, and Dead Man's Tale. That's going
And
to be
Outbreak.
and it's going to be the low-level kings for PvP
When is the
For
first
sure.
Iron Banner coming?
Next week.
next week.
This coming Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I got the
Interesting.
SMG.
I know you
Lightweight.
did, cool guy. Day
Lightweight.
one, baby. If I had known
He earned it.
that Bungo,
You just gotta earn it,
he earned
Fallout.
that Bungo
worry
would
about
have
it.
dropped the ball by letting me hold on to my Iron Banner bounties. It's like, oh, brand new loot that's not even in the game yet. Cool
Yo,
story.
big plays made with the season pass from the previous season pass pulling.
Mhm.
Yeah, that helps so much on the light level grind. I think I'm at
Oh yeah, that helps a
1308
lot.
right now, so
Yeah.
I'm finally getting 1310s to drop. It's nice.
Good call, man.
This has been
Oh.
a really nice season for light. Like I don't feel stressed out this season. It's been like the easiest season ever to rank
Yeah.
up, in my opinion.
Sure.
I've only done one character, and I'm like 1305, 1306. So
Yeah, not bad.
good.
Yeah, I started playing on Friday in like the 1270s when I played my first round of trials, and without obviously outside of what Cammy and Cool Guy, what we did on the one night, where we just did a couple powerful things. Like I didn't try to level it all. And by the end of the weekend, I was over 1300. So it was like, okay, like someone literally messaged me and said, "How'd you get up so fast?" I was like, "I literally just played a lot this weekend. Like I wasn't doing anything special," which I was actually really happy with because the light grind is probably the least fun aspect of Destiny's
Probably.
seasonal rotation.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
It's much easier when you begin the new season and you're like, all right, what's the soft cap? Oh, I'm already there. Like, I can
can
just
play
go
the game?
for
What?
powerfuls. Yeah, I can just play the game now. I don't have to like farm lost sectors or anything weird like that. Like, yeah, not bad in terms of trying to.
By
Guys,
the way,
yeah,
Mercules, Cammy, and I, the firing range first team to go through on Xbox this past weekend. We got through. Drew, we need to play.
the
at some
first
point.
team, but not the second.
You got the shoebox, dude.
I did. I got this. This thing is so tiny, bro. God, it's
great.
like
isn't it pretty
I gotta
awesome though?
grab one.
Honestly, like it's
I gotta grab one.
impressive how well it runs Destiny considering how small
Yeah.
it is in appearances.
this is like you put it next to my PlayStation 5. It's like don't talk to me or my son ever again. Like the PS5 is like a monster. The Xbox Series S is like a tiny little thing. But yeah, we'll get that done. We'll get out there. But
far
have you
as,
boys used the palindrome yet?
I was gonna say.
I've heard it's a
Um,
very underrated cannon.
I think it is. Because a lot of the people I
Mild
see,
meme.
and you mentioned it earlier, like 120s are all the rage. it's
They are. Yes.
well accepted now that at the highest level play, or if you're wanting to play with the best chances of winning, people are taking out 120s. That's just how it goes, right?
They are. Yeah.
140s are less consistent than 120s, even though they have a faster time to kill. People are gravitating towards consistency and obviously versatility with a ton of range. So 140s are kind of not like the thing right now. I think Palindrome has the potential to break that mold a bit. I think it's more so leaning towards 120s as much as it is because there you can get a decent 120 and be very competitive, whereas like there's already not a lot of good 140s, and you need a very good, near perfect 140 to compete with them. So I think Palindrome has the potential to break that mold and be used more often. I like it because I like pairing with Chaperone. I don't like pairing 120s with Chaperone. I like to have a little bit more of a forgiving as far as rate of fire goes, forgiving for missing in that close range, close mid range that I play. So I like Palindrome a lot. It can get upwards, the Adept version can get upwards of 80 range and 80 stability with an Adept Icarus mod. And that is crazy. 80 range, 80 stability.
That's ace levels.
That's
Yeah,
very good.
exactly. And 80 aim assist to go along with that. Well, 79, but and then added the mods and everything. Like that's that's packing. Like that's crazy. Crazy stats for consistency. And with rangefinder and that much range and stability, I think you're going to be able to compete with or contest the 120s a little bit better. So I think that it's it's getting all the hype as being a D1 weapon, but it's not getting the hype as a competitive option. And I think it will later on when the Adept version comes out.
I firmly agree with you. Like, yeah, 120s are hot because they're very I wouldn't, maybe not easy to use, but they've got great range, really usable.
It's the
But
best
I love
team shot in Destiny, dude.
such a good team shot. It's painfully effective, and you can do it from like cross map. But the Palindrome, easy to farm this week. I know some people out there. Cammy, raise your hand, holding out for the Adept grind.
I am,
But,
but I also accidentally got it first. I mean, earned it first try.
Wasn't an
You
accident.
earned it because you played.
earned it.
That's
Yeah.
right, you earned it because you played harder than people who have done it 20 times.
I'm proud of you, Cam.
But yeah, I have one with 68 range, 71 stability. So not even at like the full potential of what it can reach, but not bad either. And like it's really good. You just roll into PvP with it. It just feels great. I love that it's got really good recoil direction. It just feels nice. I like the scope. I like the feel. I like everything about it. And I'm gonna probably get off tonight after we're done with the podcast and probably farm more.
Mine's a 60 range, 80 stability, quick draw rangefinder.
I have
Not bad.
68 range, 80 stability rangefinder, and it feels really good.
That's really good.
Subsistence, high impact reserves. You would think that synergy would be just nutty in PvP, but it's really not.
Also got Killing Wind Thresh.
Get that super energy in PvE.
That's right.
That's true, yeah. What other? There's definitely more than what we've covered right now. Oh man, what is?
weapon-wise?
Yeah, weapon. There's so much more.
Oh,
What
dude,
is the Cabal? The Cabal SMG? Or
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
what is that
Oh
gun
no, there's
called?
bigger
Extraordinary
news here.
rendition.
What about quick
Yeah.
draw being off the astral?
That's what I wanted
This
to talk
is
about.
huge.
Oh
news.
right,
That's what I wanted to talk
yes.
about. We talked
Please
about
talk
it
about
a few
it.
weeks ago.
Go.
why?
So it looks like
Why?
to preface this, it looks like all aggressive shotguns, as far as I'm aware, at this current moment, don't have it going forward, right? Like anything that's making it past the time of Fellwinters when it gets sunset, like doesn't have quick draw. I don't know if that's only Astral, but in
I
my
would have
mind,
to
it
look,
kind of felt
yeah.
grander than that.
I think
It's pretty interesting.
Extraordinary
one, right?
rendition, by the way.
We're talking about removing off of all ag frame shotguns, or just you're not seeing it on weapons and as many weapons in general.
Just the aggressive.
I don't see it on
Just the
aggressive frames.
Aggressive frames, yeah.
Which
'Cause
is
I mean,
telling because this is kind of one of the, I would say, positives of sunsetting is being able to tweak the meta as they see fit, even if I don't agree with that.
I mean,
That is true.
What if,
They have an
what
easier
if all
time.
shotgunning was like with a retrofuturist?
Right, that's what it
Right?
does. It makes a compelling choice between quick draw with a lightweight or an aggressive having a better consistent kill.
Yep.
And they're chaperone.
And even chaperone.
Chaperones.
I mean, I happen to get a really, I think I want to say like 4 out of 5, nearly perfect retold the other night, and it's got quick draw and everything. I'm thinking to myself, even like, when Fellwinter's a sunset, like this is it,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think people are going to use aggressives without quick draw, unless they're like maining Ophidians,
Ophidian,
those
yeah.
exotics. But at that point, you've invested in it, so you get it. It's interesting stuff.
It is
I'm
interesting
excited
stuff.
for my friend Sides, who always uses Ophidians and will still use an aggressive. And as a
He
result,
doesn't even use quick draw to begin with right now. He just uses dexterity mods and stacks a bunch of stuff with Ophidians.
right,
I mean, if
Ophidians
he's
are
already
really
using
good.
Ophidian, yeah, that's a great way to just run
A
any
lot of
other
people
perk on
forget,
your ag
and,
frame.
Like, I run this one into the ground every podcast, but stow speed matters just as much as equip speed, and Ophidians boost both of them, so it's an effective, faster draw.
So, I mean, that is going to be something to pay attention to, as far as what they do with those ag frames. Because, I mean, as far as what they're trying to do with the sandbox, like, there was, like, I felt like a year of Destiny, 6 months to a year, where, like, there was no kill clip, there was no rampage. Like, there was Swashbuckler, maybe. But then we get these weapons, and, like, they're all back again, right? We see kill clip on the Messenger, lots of rampage, multi-kill clip on Bottom Dollar, things like that. So,
Kill clip on the snipe again, the frozen orbit.
yeah. And like that's only been on what, one?
Yeah, it's only been on the Tatara.
Tatara.
The Tatara had quick draw or snapshot with kill clip as an option.
Yeah.
Now they're on the same column on frozen orbit.
I mean, they have the power to push stuff out. So we'll see. Something to pay attention to as far as the sandbox.
And I think that this metamorphosis or this division between the quick play sandbox and the end game sandbox is going to be more pronounced than ever once we see Fellwinter's fall out of sunsetting. That's going to be really.
It's going to be a big change in season 14.
Yeah, that was one of my main criticisms of sunsetting.
Wild.
And that might be the catalyst for people realizing that is when they play trials with non-quick draw shotties or with lightweights, then they go into quick play and they're getting revokered and quick draw Fellwintered nonstop.
I mean, what shotguns came out?
Retro Futurist, Retold, Tail. I think those are the big 2 right now that I have.
And then there's the old Astral.
What about
1410 that has quick draw?
Okay, when does the CQC
the old
12?
What about the Altar of Sorrow shotgun?
Blasphemer.
The Blasphemer.
Blasphemer is a slug, but it does still have its original quick draw.
Yeah, I'm just saying for shotguns that are out and available to farm right now.
And the CQC 12 is this season 13, 13, 10.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's got to be more loot. It's got to be coming.
I mean, I think that right as of right now, if you want to prepare, it's really just start doing the dungeon, Shattered Throne.
Shattered Throne, yeah.
Get your retooled or get your retro.
Or just start practicing with Chaperone because it's never gonna get sunset.
Or wear Ophidians.
Duality.
I pray every day of
Duality is
my life
good
that I never
now.
get sunset.
By the way, if no one has tried to use Duality is actually very strong. But please don't push people to use Chaperone. Chaperones is just Arbalist but short range. Nobody wants to admit that, but Chaperone is disgustingly good, and the aim assist cone is
very
ridiculously large. Yeah, and
Sounds
it's
awesome.
way more forgiving than people think it is.
It's very fun.
Hitting it with the Pringles can.
Arbalist is Chaperone with long range.
Once you pop, baby.
I just can't believe they circumcised my barrel on the Chaperone, dude.
Huh.
Panama Ravine barrel, dude. They snipped the tip.
That's what happens when you brag about stuff like that, man.
That's what happens when I meme.
You go out,
They
you
penalize
talk a
me.
big game, and Bungie comes in with the scissors.
Literally.
There's you brought up the orbit, but there's been a lot of good sniper. What's the far
future?
I mean,
Oh right, yeah, the far future.
far future. I got one with quick draw opening recently. I haven't used it yet, but there's that. The orbit's really good. Like I have a surplus Vorpal that I use for Behemoths until they nerf Behemoths, which should be very soon, hopefully, because they're looking at it.
And the shurikens while they're at it, please.
And the Dustfield just straight up just killing you now, because why not?
Yeah.
I use but I've been using Cloud Strike, dude. I have about 4,000 kills with Cloud Strike so far.
Yeah. You sure have, buddy.
But yeah,
God, I love that gun.
There's a lot of good weapons that came out.
The extraordinary rendition SMG. I know we talk a lot about PvP, but I've
Frenzy's
gotten
like the
an
best perk in the
extra,
game.
dude. I've gotten an extraordinary rendition with Frenzy, and that thing, you could get that perk activated for a whole battleground activity, whole way through. Like, because it'll continue to go even if I quickly swap to, like, if I'll pair it with like a truth teller, something, auto loading holster. I'll like quick swap out fire, disruption break back to SMG, and like Frenzy's still going, and like you just keep it going. It's literally
20%,
it's a 20%.
correct?
Yeah, it's rampage times 2, like almost all the time. It's just so good. I really want to play it with it in PvP because our buddy Mudkip, cool guy. Shout out to Mudkip, great guy. Kippers. He brought the rendition. He's a controller player. He brought it into PvP. He was talking a big game of it because Bungie. I haven't used an SMG on controller in a while. I usually, if I'm using an SMG, I'm playing M&K. But apparently, with the changes they made to the camera movement and the recoil and all that stuff, even with the low stability, apparently very usable.
Honestly, they finally don't suck, dude. I mean, as a controller SMG, like as a controller player using SMGs, like even back with like recluse battles back in the day on console were kind of weird, but like they feel good, man. The screen shake was a big part of it. They feel a lot better in your hands, especially this 720, right? As far as RPM,
check.
I think it was
750 RPM.
750. I'm sorry.
750.
But even at that, like cold front and all that, that's a no go on like Huckleberry. That's a no go beforehand. But like the changes are huge for console players and controller players.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump ahead and begin to look at community questions, but if there's any other weapons you want to talk about that have been newly added that you either have enjoyed using or are on the lookout for, now would be the time to mention them.
I don't have the Axiom. I want to get that. That's the high impact strike. It's kind of like a hopscotch pilgrim type deal. It's one of those ones that has 12 rollable perks, but both sidearms are really good. The 2 burst, and I think the other one's the kneading.
Yeah, the 2 burst one, the Cabal one, that one's a lot of fun. I enjoy that. I want one with killing wind on it, but I don't have that roll yet. Hopefully in time.
Basically, that keening is the Vestian Dynasty, man. It sounds the exact same. Like it can have Dragonfly, like mine's Threat Detector Dragonfly, and it's awesome to run around with.
I'm most excited for Fallout to test shotguns again. Once people want to know about the precision frames, because I also want to know about the precision frames.
Just take any questions you have related to a shotgun, write them down, and put them. Just DM them in all at one time.
My vault's
Fallout,
busting
your
at the
shotgun
seams.
questions.
I'm already getting tweets from DFP Shake, Fun Police Shaky. He's like, yeah, I tried testing Killing Wind for like 3 minutes, and I was like, yeah, F it, I'm gonna let Fallout do this. I was like, oh, good, thanks.
So I have some old weapons that are obviously sunset by now, like an old Retold Tale with max range. And yeah, that'll be very easy to test because it has both rifled and full choke, so I can just switch it on the gun.
Perfect.
So yeah, that'll be useful in the future.
Why my vault is always at 500.
You'll go AFK, go to get a snack or something, and just
clip that.
Just be careful. One of the things I found when I was testing shotguns is that they have different idle animations when they stand. And one of the idle animations that came up like some of the time would like push one of their legs out to the side a little bit. And it was giving me like 3/4 of a meter extra kill distance on them. It would like always get hit by 1 additional pellet compared to a normal thing. And it screwed so many of my results. I remember testing it and being like, oh my god, this is actually the worst thing I've ever done in my entire life.
You're literally giving me flashbacks because when I do shotgun testing, like the meme is that I'm always like, could you move back and forward again? Like it's like what was that show? Like the IT crowd? Like, could you like turn it off and on again? I'm like, could you move back and forward again? Because like they're literally standing, like when they move into the spot, their legs are kind of like super close together. I'm like, because if you move forward and back, then you become that normal stance. And like if your legs are super like this, then it can affect the pellet spread because like if you miss with 2 pellets, that could be the difference between a 1-hit kill and not.
Okay,
good
so
lord
mark
with
my
that.
words here. I remember when Bungie changed the like cone angle or some jargon like that on shotguns on all the barrels, but at the time, full bore didn't exist on any shotguns, and the Aikido shotgun, I think, was the first with the Prophecy Dungeon that dropped with full bore, and I never got a max range roll to test that. So just keep an eye out for that in the future in case that one slipped under the radar and they forgot to adjust the angle, because there's a chance.
Oh God in
I just
heaven!
don't have the roll to confirm or deny.
Thank God for that. Let's move on to questions. I think we did a good job of tackling all the new junk in the Season of the Chosen Sandbox. If you have any topic that we didn't cover today that you want us to tackle for next time's episode, because there's still plenty more to talk about, hit us up on Twitter or our Twitch channels or wherever. But move on to community questions. And this one might be coming in hot. But I really would love to present this question to this group of people. From Lumpzilla on Twitter. Pulling no punches here. Why in the world are we still getting radio silence from Bungie regarding PvP? How do you interpret their lack of response to the community's outcry regarding the absence of new or updated maps, etc.?
Okay, I'll start.
Predicted that Merc would react in such a way, but carry on, cool guy.
I kind of want to start with, I really do hope that there's some sort of, not necessarily from Luke Smith, but some sort of development update, because that's where they can clear that, right? As far as PvP, they've said that, I mean, the only thing that they've really said as far as like crossplay and trials, in DDoS, like that's the only thing that they've talked about really that I can think of as far as recently, but nothing about maps, nothing like that, and they have been radio silent. Like, to me, like at this point, I think one of those development updates is needed, just to talk about it there. That way, it's out in the open, and probably just be done with it in their in their eyes. Because I don't know, they might not have like the resources to do it.
They might not.
At this point, they have to determine whether PvP is something they really want to like, whether they want to be a significant part of the game moving forward, or whether they just want the game to be PvE, and then also there's like a PvP arena you can go like dick around in or whatever, because it seems like it's starting to lean in that direction, right? Like trials, despite the fact that they added new rewards, and a lot of the new rewards are awesome and rewards are great, the reward structure still sucks. Trials itself still sucks. The game mode sucks. Like everything about trials except for the rewards has been awful for a very long period of time with no word on the street. No new maps, no new playlists, no new game types. Like it's getting to the point where I'm starting to honestly be concerned that like they no longer have interest in making PvP a fundamental part of the game anymore. And it will just continue to be there because it needs to be there, but it's not really going to be a focus moving forward. We've had some exceptional PvE content come out, like really, really tremendously good stuff. And in the same time, we can't even get an old game mode that we've already had back, or a new map on the new location that we've gotten. Like it's starting to be tremendously concerning to me. And then, secondary to that, like people used to joke about this, like we need a season of the Crucible. And like, a year ago, I was like, we don't really need that. Like we really do legitimately need like a season of the Crucible. Like they need to spend maybe one of the one-off seasons that don't really matter that much, but like they need to spend a significant period of time like looking at what is ailing the PvP ecosystem and actually trying to fix some of it, instead of just being like, hey, we're going to give you guys a sword for playing trials, like good luck, have fun. And it's like,
hey dude, like straight up, like I'm to this point, like if you're not going to like bring on the D1 maps, like port them in. Like if you're not going to do anything, like there's nothing, like at least do that. Like there's about 7 or 8 more.
Let the
maps that I'd
kids
like to
run
see in
free.
D2.
Shit,
Yeah,
bring back
just
D1 trials too. Like the reward system and the matchmaking system in D1 trials
Like-
in early House of Wolves was better than what we have now. Like bring it all back. Bring all of D1's PvP back. Just give it all to us. Come on. Like I'll take that at that point. Bring it out of the vault.
I think every PvP player would be okay with the D1 maps coming back. Like, sure, there's gonna be that crowd, like, oh, God, another D1 thing. But most of us were like, yeah, okay, cool, let's do it.
It's
all
something.
of them.
Like I log into Destiny and it's like, when you wake up and your mouth is super dry and you're like like water. Like that's what I'm like for like any PvP, anything right now. I like log in, I'm like please, like a new map or something, help me. But no. But then they gave me, a Tex Mechanics scout rifle, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll keep playing.
That's fair.
I don't want D1 maps to come back. I think the vast majority have proven already that they play horribly in D2, and I hate them. And I don't
Example.
want that. Twilight Depth.
Convergence.
I hate Twilight
Convergence.
Gap.
Oh, convergence,
like,
yes.
There are
Please.
some that are good, like not bad, but
Fire-based
I hate
Delphi?
Bannerfall. I hate
Uh.
Twilight Gap. I hate Convergence. Like you know, they're just why I feel like they were just built for a game that had a different movement speed, a lot of different things, and why tarnish them by like bringing them back
I
because
like,
like we're desperate for content. I think we need to move past it. We need something better. I do think that I agree that it sucks that we're not getting PvP stuff, but it's like what 7 years in the franchise. Like my standards are a bit higher now. Like it's like I do think we, you know, the Destiny 2 maps. I think there's a lot of great ones. I think we need new stuff that is built for the game and how it plays now and suited for that. And I think that we need game modes that maybe could be even based off of old ones, but without the old flaws. Like we've talked about, hey, Rift with proper scoring without or Salvage with proper scoring, or maybe
Salvage
even
would
go
be
back
good.
and tweak
That'd be great.
survival.
Yeah.
But I think we need something more personally. My standards are higher. I'm more critical of it now, and it's a mix of because we've seen a lot of D1 stuff come back, and quite frankly, I personally don't like it in D2 in the current state of it. And then on top of it, we've been so long without content that I feel my expectations rise each time we are just like given this drought like that. It's not like I don't know. It's less of a desperation thing and more of like, okay, you need to like we need some good stuff.
There's also a
haven't
ton
gotten some
out of
good stuff in a long
rotation right
time.
now. There's also
I-
a ton of maps
Yeah.
out of rotation right
We don't
now.
even have D2 maps that we have.
Yeah,
Like,
that is true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Scout rifles are fun now. Give us back some of the longer sightline maps. Like, give us a big team playlist that's 9 versus 9, and like let us.
Oh, that'd be
you know,
fun.
Yeah, like there are a lot of things that they could do that are new. It's just I'm the opposite of you. Like your expectations are going up the longer you don't hear anything. Because you're like it's been a while. They need to give us something big. My expectations are just like falling off a cliff. Like they haven't even given us a new map in a year. Like I'm
Mhm.
seriously concerned that they're just not working. And we haven't heard anything too. It's not like they've been like, "Hey guys, we're working on a huge revamp. Like we're going to come back out and we're going to do all this stuff later on in the year. Just give us some time. We're trying to work on it." Like they literally haven't even said anything. At all.
Yeah,
no,
it
the only
kind of
thing-
reaches a point where if people are angry tweeting so much, it's like, okay, we have to talk about that. Like, no promises, but we're looking into 3-peaking. Like, they have to like throw a bone into the crowd because like people like every week, like they're just like 3-peaking, like Bungie. Like it's not so much that we're hurt by the 3-peaking, we are, but it's that we're hurt even more by the fact that it's like, damn man, like. Can we just open up a dialogue? Let's have a dialogue. Let's talk about it. Just the fact that like that you're listening to us talk about it, and they throw us that one tweet. We're like, okay, we'll take that. I'll gnaw on that bone a little bit. Like we're looking at it. No promises, but yeah.
They
stand
did
by-
say that they were going
Go on.
to try to have a renewed focus on primary gunplay versus abilities. Like I will give them that. That's like the only thing I can remember now.
Yeah, they did
is
say
the
that.
3-peak thing, more focus on primary play and console DDoS prevention.
We
I
gotta
stand
get
by
into.
as far
Oh,
as
go on.
PvP goes that and we talked about it a while ago and I'm like super gung ho and passionate about this. We need I think even more than maps, we need game modes. I'm tired of different flavors of Slayer or Clash or Deathmatch, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same thing to me. It's like everything in this game feels like a different flavor of that. You know, no matter what it is at this point, we need game modes, and I think the game modes do personally, I believe, have the potential to refresh some of these maps. If they're like, hey, like game modes made for maps, or game modes that play really well on some maps and not so well on some other maps, perhaps. I don't know, but I think they have the power to even bring back some old game modes. Like I said, make the scoring appropriate to like not Clown Town scoring, and you know it could really refresh things. Trials right now, I think it's garbage. I think Trials, the Elim game mode needs a lot of work, or like I don't know, tweak it, make it something else. I don't know, but I think game modes are really making the game unenjoyable. It's so stale to me, and I can go on for hours for this, but I think we need new game modes.
I would agree pretty strongly, Drew. And I'm gonna let your comment be the perfectly tied bow on that question because we have 5 minutes left and we've only answered
Let's
one
roll.
question. I'm gonna move on to another one.
That's a good
Quick
question.
answers for this one. It was a good question.
Yeah, really good
Mr. Bacon, how viable is the Dead Man's Tale going to be in Trials with 120s still reigning king?
Depends on the map. You know,
Good
if it's
answer.
Altar of Flame like it was last week, our flawless run, I was running Symmetry and then Trustee. Right, Dead Man's Tale would fit right in with that. If it's Anomaly, probably gonna have less luck. You know, but it competes with 120s at range. I mean, I have yet to find a sightline that I was out of range with the Dead Man's Tail on. I've
74
played,
meters.
yeah, like it's probably the only thing in the game that can reliably compete with 120s and, maintain its TTK. Now, can it complete the flinch the 120s deal? Probably not, but I don't think it's going to be the sweatastic gun to end all sweatastic guns. I think Steady Hand's still gonna maintain.
Map specific.
I have a question for Cool Guy and
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
Merc, since you guys are using it most. What entices me most about that scout is, I guess, come the catalyst. It has like some. First of all, it has a lower zoom, right? It has a right a little
1.8.
lower than most
1.8.
scouts.
It's the same as
Yeah,
Messenger.
yeah. And then it also has like the hipfire capability. What's super enticing to me about that scout is it looks like you can like maybe get some like fast-paced like aggressive play in there. So could you use it on anomaly? Like could you potentially like be like a run and gun scout player? I haven't
Well,
used it enough.
I will say
So-
that the low zoom helps. The super open sight picture helps a lot. When they say they're going to remove like the hip fire inaccuracy, I'm like a little hesitant to believe it's going to be as good as I actually like want it to be. But if it is, then yes, you will be able to do that, and it will be incredible. If it's not, I mean, the fact of the matter is 1.8 is still a high zoom, and when I'm going up against a steady hand at like 20, 25 meters, like I am getting flinched very significantly. And the aim assist cone is not nearly as generous as it is on a 120 hand cannon, right? So when you get flinched off, there's a very good chance that that shot is just whiffing. And, it's relatively forgiving. It's more forgiving than like normal 180 high impact scout, but it's not super, super forgiving. I feel like hand cans at close range are just way, way more forgiving than it is. But that's because we don't have the catalyst yet. If I can hip fire it, then I suddenly don't care as much about flinch. And I'd be really excited to see that.
You'd want
catalyst
the
is
you'd
what
want the
unlocks it.
snapshot roll
Yeah.
if you're gonna run a gun.
I want to see someone run and gun with it so bad. It would be like it looks.
I'm gonna
so
do
cool
it. I'm gonna
since
do
the-
it.
All in
Downblade.
due time. All in due
Also,
time.
lack of NAR too. Sorry,
waiting
that's
on
another
Cam's
thing.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
don't
why
worry
I
about
it.
chose
There you go.
Dawnblade with it. It's gonna
Yeah.
be my official shoddy
yep.
weapon because perfect hip fire and then infinite range essentially for all maps. Yeah, it's gonna do the work.
Question from Mercuratura. How long do you think they will let the Thunder Crash exotic, turning the Falling Star is what it's referring to, go before it possibly gets nerfed?
Well, light subclasses are on life support, so they shouldn't nerf it. So that thing is so good.
It's so
then
good. I
again-
love it.
But then again, it does like completely trash everything in the game. Like, it-
7 weeks, 3 days, 23 hours and 2 minutes before the
Which,
new
by the
raid.
way, you guys ready? You heard it here first. That exotic, the I didn't put it in my video, but the Overshield Park works with any Titan super in the game. You could be done with Behemoth, come out with an Overshield for 7 seconds. True story. Have fun.
On top
Why
of
would
the
you?
crystal
Why would you put that
resistance
out
bots.
there?
Yes, yes.
Cool guys.
Would you put that out there?
Because
I'm not
it
even
is-
sure if what is it? Izanagi's Verdant can do it at this point.
Not with the DR. No.
Wow.
God help us all. Final question from Chris. Most important question we've had. Marry, fuck, kill, last word, Thorn, Hawkmoon. Drew, go.
How do I answer? What is it? Last word, Thorn,
Yikes.
Hawkmoon.
Yeah.
Mary. Last word. Fuck Hawkmoon and kill Thorn.
No,
I don't know why I picked you. I just thought it would be funny. Merc, what do you got?
I would marry Hawkmoon. Hawkmoon seems like a nice, respectable hand cannon. I would fuck Thorn, and I would kill the last
Probably.
word. So,
Thorn would probably be wild in bed, right? Thorn's that girl that she's pretty wild. You don't
doesn't
don't
it
bring her home
shoot
now.
giant black dildos already. Anyways, isn't that what the bullets are that come out of that thing when you see them?
I'm gonna have to
stuck
check
against
with
the wall?
Bife, but I think that is confirmed canon in the lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Hive dildos.
Well,
We had a
first of all,
good
I
run
would
this
I would never cheat
podcast.
on Ace of Spades.
Facts.
That is true. Yeah, that is
Not
true.
forget-
So yeah, well, like it would be it would be Ace, Hawkmoon, last word, and like Thorn's already dead to me, so that's cool.
Jeez.
Cammy,
Okay, I
any
guess I'll
thoughts?
go. Kill Hawkmoon. I don't like that randomness. I still am salty about that from D1. I guess merry last word. Fuck Thorn.
Yeah, that sounds good. No, I'll be different. I'll marry Thorn. Thorn deserves love, all right? She's
Boo.
misunderstood. She's misunderstood. Don't you boo our love, cool guy. You're just like my father. Kidding. Thank you very much for joining us for our first episode back for Season of the Chosen. We really do appreciate all of you. It's been pretty wild so far. I think the season's doing kind of well, better than I thought it would.
I call it Season of the Loot.
Season of the Loot, baby. But we got more to talk about, so be sure to tune in next time. We record every other Wednesday live on the DCP Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/DCP_live. But we all have our own personal Twitch, YouTube, whatever, OnlyFans accounts, so we're going to go around the table and let everyone know at home where you can find each of us. Cammy, where can the people find you?
Twitch.tv/CammyCakes, YouTube.com/CammyCakes Gaming, Twitter.com/CammyCakesYT. Thank you, everyone.
Beautiful. Cool guy, where can they find you?
Twitter and YouTube, Cool Guy Games.
Drew, tell him.
Twitter.com/Drewsky's channel, YouTube.com/Drewsky's channel, and Twitch.tv/Drewskys.
Merc, where can I find you?
Find me on Twitter at Mercules904, and you can find me on the Destiny Massive Breakdowns podcast as well.
Love it. You can find me, I'm Fallout, at youtube.com/FalloutPlays and twitch.tv/FalloutPlays. We appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time.